A busy day. The sun was peeping over the eastern hills when Kasumo awoke. Father was already out behind the house, milking the cow. There would be milk to drink and warm milk to put on the rice that Mother was stirring in the kettle over the smoky fire in the corner. Kumari was still asleep. She would stay asleep until breakfast was over and they were ready to go with Father to the rice field. Then Mother would take her little baby girl from the mat on the floor, wrap her in a blanket, and fasten her to Mother's back. Then she would ride while Mother helped Father set out the tiny little rice plants in the paddy fields. Kasumo stretched and yawned. She was still sleepy, but she knew that she must be ready to go when Father called, or he would be cross. Kasumo did not have many things to do. She stood up, pushed the tousled hair back from her face, and wrapped her small garment around her waist. Then she sat on the floor before the black kettle of hot rice and curry. Mother had placed 3 large flat leaves on the floor, one for Father, one for Mother, and one for Kasumo. After Father had sent the cow to the field with the herd boy, he came in and ate breakfast with his family. There were no dishes to wash and put away, and no silverware to polish or wash. No one in the family used any knives, forks, or spoons. They ate their hot rice with their fingers. When the meal was finished, they washed their hands in a pan of hot water and wiped them on a towel. Mother gathered up the leaves and threw them out into the yard where the cats or chickens would take care of the crumbs. The milk gourds were rinsed out, turned upside down in the sun to dry, and the work was all done. The herd boy took a number of the neighbors' cows out to graze for the day. He tended the cows, saw that they had plenty of grass to eat and some water to drink. Some of the cows were small, and they had humps on their backs. They did not give very much milk, since the people could not afford good feed for them. These cows gave only a few quarts of milk a day, so their owners often diluted the milk with water before they sold it. Often the water was not even clean. The day was hot. Father and Mother were busy setting out paddy plants in the mud while Kasumo sat on the bun watching her baby sister. She made mud balls and placed them in a row on the rocks. She patted them and rolled them with her little brown hands. When her hands became dirty, she washed them in the water in the paddy field. The water was so warm, it felt good on her little bare feet. "I wish Kumari was big enough to make mud balls," said Kasumo. "We could have so much fun. I wish I had a little kitty to play with, too." "But cats are not nice," said Mother. "Someday Kumari will be big enough to play with you." Father paused for a moment to rest. "Someday you and Kumari will be big enough to sit out paddy plants," he said. Kasumo was undecided whether she wanted to grow up, for there was a lot of hard work to be done, and she would be expected to do her share. If she had been a boy, she could take care of the cows in the meadow. She would wash the water buffaloes when the days were hot. She would splash around in the cool water in the pond and scrub the backs of the water buffaloes with coconut fiber. That would be fun. Father had always reminded her that she would be expected to work hard. "Girls do not help very much," grumbled Father. "They cannot care for the cows. They cannot wash the water buffaloes. They cannot lift the stones to build the buns." Kasumo was glad when it was dinner time. They sat down on the stones to eat their curry and rice that Mother had brought in the gourds. Then back to the paddy field they went, while Kasumo watched her sister and made more mud balls. It was a very long day. When at last the shadows crept over the paddy field and the sun sank low towards the western hills, Father and Mother took Kasumo and Kamari back to the mud brick house with the thatched roof. They ate their supper of rice and beans. When the herd boy brought home the cows, Father milked the warm milk for them to drink. Soon Mother spread the blanket on the floor, for they were tired. When it grew dark, there were no lights except the fire that was kept burning outside the door to frighten away the animals. Kasumo was so tired. She lay on her blanket listening to Father and Mother talk. She watched the moon come up over the eastern hills. She saw the stars twinkling in the dark night sky. Big tears came to Kasumo's eyes and rolled down her little brown cheeks. Oh, I wish I had been born a boy, so I could grow up big and strong like Father and be useful. Then Father would love me. With a heavy sigh, Kasumo fell asleep. When morning came, Kasumo was very happy. The sun was up, Mother had breakfast ready, and Father had already gone to the field to work. Kamari was sitting on her mat, trying to catch the sunbeams that came in through the open doorway. Kamari clapped her hands with joy when she saw that Kasumo was awake. Kasumo clapped her hands and smiled too. She loved her sister, even though she was too small to play and make mud balls.